Utitshala wami bengandithandi.
Why did it happen? Why to me?
Okay, mama, apa kita faham?
Die pille, as jy speletjies wat hulle oppas het, die drugs.
Does it get easier?
Yes, it gets easier.
Oh yeah? Look at you.
Thanks. The more you know who you are and what you want, the less you let things upset you.
I just don't know what I'm supposed to be.
Previously, approximately 50% of children with perinatal HIV infections were expected to die before the age of 2 years. However, the survival of perinatally infected HIV-positive children into adolescence is on the increase globally. Young people living with perinatal infections of HIV now face a chronic rather than a progressively fatal disease, with treatment including adherence to lifelong antiretroviral treatment. Although art is biomedically life-saving, surviving into adulthood introduces new complex and challenging structural and contextual realities, most of which are uncharted in the literature. We set out to explore how young women who grew up living with HIV navigate through their lives, in their communities, and in their adherence journey. This is our story.
My name is Amanda. Igama lami Amanda. I'm staying in Wallacedene. Ngihlala eWallacedene now. I'm HIV positive. And HIV, yabo. I-HIV ngifumene umama with my mother. I'm young. So, but I don't care about any people. Isikole ngifunda kuso, ngifunda Wallacedene High School, grade 10. So njengoba ngifunda ke esikolweni, ngingumuntu othakatha, I'm a slow learner. Uthisha benifundisa like esikolweni, like maybe kanye kwenziwa umsebenzi edrop benibandodwa. Uthishala wami bengandithanda, ndayeka isikole. Everyday bendiyinanto bendihamba ngiyoripota kumama. Ngibhala i-test esikolweni, abaninike i-report bathi andibhalanga. Into nami ndiyafuna ufunda, ngifuna ufana nabanye abantwana. Ndibe right nami ndiphumelele kwezinye izinto. But ke uthisha uyakwazi uba ndayeka isikole ke ngoku bona baqhubekeke abanye abantwana. So mama banebuza kwabantwana bachaze abantwana besikole aba befunda naba uAmanda kahlelanga kahle esikole. Bona icebo wenza njani ngoAmanda. Ke ngoku bendinanto xa ndiye esikolweni like xa ndibuza imibuzo kutishana ndimbuza uba tishana le into kwenziwa njani, atishana ubana angandihoyi and-ignore. But if abanye abantu bayabuza yena uyabaphendula, mna akandiphenduli. So bendinomnye umiss wam okuthiwa ngumiss ebendenza i-hospitality. Laa miss ebendithanda like bendikwazi ushera yonke into kuye. So kubekho yenye iday caba azitshayelanga. Then ngoku ekuseni ndivuke ekuseni ndihambe ndiyotshayela esikolweni. Then ngoku afika utitsha abuze uba kutheni ndingatshayelanga. Ndithi titsha ndingatshayeli ekuseni and ndiyazazi uba ndirongo ungatshayeli eklasini but ke ndinatshayeli ekuseni. Then after that ke ngoku utitshala andibize ndiye nyhani andibethe utitshala. Kubekho omnye umiss olapha cangotitshala athi uyadika gqithi wena usisiqoqo kakhulu. Ndithi ke naye titshala waye sithi ndisisiqoqo because ndize apha esikolweni kuba ndizofundiswa nguwe, iyafana uba ngomzali wam but why that's why abantwana abaninzi bevele bayeka isikolo because ndivele ndibathiwe ngokwenu because andisifuna uncedo kuyo uphinde nisithuke nina.
When I was working in bank to see the pregnant mothers, we saw them. I think it was around about 28 weeks. So when I was working there, then I said to myself, okay, let me try to change the times that I test them because I was finding them late at 28 weeks. So we started, we had like 6 weeks every time they come to the clinic, then I would test them. Yes, they were a lot. That time we didn't have prep when I was doing bank. So when we test them earlier, then we would do our counseling. So they would take the ARVs immediately because they are pregnant. So they would, and I would do their viral load while they're with me because they started with me with their ARVs. Okay. Then I would see that they're taking their treatment and I would be like happy because they are taking their treatment, which means that the baby is going to be fine. And I would also emphasize that to the mother that you're also doing this for your baby. Yeah. So yes, they were taking the treatment.
Yeah. First, people they didn't want to admit that they were HIV positive, and they were breastfeeding and bottle feeding at the same time. But since the time goes, we used to educate them. They stick on one thing. At least now it's much better. It's really much better now. They are tested at birth, and then they are also tested at 6 weeks and 10 weeks. But I think when they are doing immunization, we used to test when they're pregnant women most at birth, on delivery, and then at 6 weeks when they come in at the clinic. But surprisingly, at 10 weeks when they come, the mother is HIV positive, of which during the time the mother was pregnant, the partner was not faithful. That's the other challenges that we are facing. And then sometimes the mother doesn't want to tell the partner that she tested positive now. And she doesn't want to stop breastfeeding the child because people will say, what's the stigma of HIV. That's the also challenge that we are facing.
Yeah. So HIV, you either get a vertical infection or horizontal infection. So they contacted HIV vertically, so they got it from their mother. So it's during the perinatal period. So it can be before birth, during delivery, or immediately after birth within the first 7 days. So it depends on the mother, whether she's on ARVs and the risk of transmission during that time. So perinatal infection is vertical transmission of HIV.
I was 10 years old because there was something we were attending in the clinic that time. So when I'm getting up to that place, I'm coming to the clinic to my parents. I didn't manage to finish my school. It was look like I was not looking like the other children at school because I need to be I must be tired because I don't have people. I can't do things like other people. Like if I need to study, I must study hard because in I need I think everyone knows. Now sometimes they can see my medication thing and ask what this medication is for. Then I'm telling them I'm HIV. Sometimes they are curious, they ask me, how? Then I'm gonna tell them I found HIV to my mother passed away. Yeah, it's like that.
bly aan die Wallacedene.
Okay.
Ek bly met my ouma en my ma en pa is oorlede. En ek bly met my tweelingsuster ook. As ek en my suster en my ouma en my auntie se 2 kinders. En dan sit nog my pa se neef. Maar my auntie bly agter in die hokkie. En dan sit ek en my suster, my ouma en my auntie se kinders wat in die huis bly.
Okay.
En my pa se neef bly ook aan 'n hokkie agter.
Okay.
Ja.
Casey is my seun se kind, né? Nou het hulle eers by sy ma gebly. Dan toe raak sy ma, as sy ma oorlede is, dan daar kom hulle met die social worker by my. Nou, die kinders sê, situasie was so baie moeilik terwyl hy maar lewe. Neighbor kom na my toe om te sê, hulle krank vir die kinders, maar deur die week, hulle slaap by die ma. Maar van Vrydag as die skool uit is, dan kom hulle na die oma toe. Saterdag, Sondag, en dan Sondag, 6 o'clock, dan moet ek maar vir hulle kappa, huis toe, dan moet ek maar vir hulle iets hoender of so by die winkel stel te maak, appel vanmorgen by die skool, en chips, yoghurt. Toen zei ik, oké, als jullie wel hier bij mij, ik is helemaal. Ik wacht heel. Social worker. Toen heeft social worker van mij, maar dit heeft een tijdje gewacht. Ik denk amper een maand. Toen zei hij, ik moet die kind hier zo bij mij houden. Hulle gaan so lank uitvind.
Ik was geboren met het. Mijn ma had eindelijk nooit gevat, ik weet het niet. Mijn ma en mijn pa, mijn ma had te laat uitgevonden. Hij had mij verteld hoe dit gebeurde, hoe ik het gekregen en van als ik ouder mensen raak, dan was het, wat is die, kom ik die erin, voor mijn rest van mijn leven. Kom ik aan toe, die dingen gaan, dan was het eeuwig gegaan. Ik ben maar het gevoel van soms dat ik akkurat net gevoel en heel dat het amper zo lijkt. Het is zo, ze kan niet werken en ze kan niks doen. Ze kan niks doen, maar ze wil iets doen, maar ze kan niet zo haar werk doen. Ik moest eerst lopen. Nou, als ik goed op je laat, op je aan, op je niks, dan gaat mijn rug zeer. Dus ik kan werken, mijn handen en maar ik moet niet te veel.
My name is Mira, and I found out that I was HIV when I was about 7 years old. Got treatment from my mom. Yeah, that's my story.
One time I was sitting in the living room, like me and my sister and my mom, my elder sister, and we were talking about like random stuff. And all of a sudden, I could see in my mom's face, like I don't know what. One of us like said to make a trigger, like just let it break down, and just told me like everything I'm going through is our fault. And she's like blaming herself now, and like which like no, I like had to console my mom like no, it is not your fault. It's like no one asked for it to happen. And like basically from my point of view, it's not like my mom like gave it to me, and like she also got it from my daddy because my daddy had serious TB, and it went over to HIV, and that's where my mom got infected, but they didn't know. Like from most of what I remember of my daddy was mostly in hospital or lying in bed like sick or so. But that was when I grew older, like 2 years before he died. And I was about 4 years old, and I can still remember like how sick he was and how he had to rush to the hospital. Or my mom would phone and say, my brother must come fetch me at school because my daddy went to the hospital and he's so sick. And he would stay there for months. But my mom never knew, like he would like close his eyes so early.
Malayla, I'm HIV positive. When I was small, my mother told me I was born with it.
Ko to ano ko rin train school. Ani prakas ka kayo. Lupi ko rin train school. So, King at Wuhan school to. Hindi trabaho isto. Ala rupi minsa pepero. Skito pepero.
Adherence to treatment is not only medication, so it involves just adherence to the treatment plan. So it means coming to your clinic appointments, actually eating what you need to eat, or taking the medication a certain way. So if you say it needs to be taken with a meal or on an empty stomach, whether it's the ARVs or other medication, it's just adherence is following that treatment plan and the sort of rules or guidelines that goes with the treatment plan. When it comes to HIV and ARVs, there's not a lot of leeway. So we usually say they need 100% adherence to medication because they need to have a high level of the drug in their body at all times. So it needs to be at the level that the blood level needs to be stable at the level that's going to fight the infection or the virus. And as soon as that blood level drops below the therapeutic threshold, it means that the virus is not suppressed. It can actually replicate and, cause illness when it replicates.
You must take your medication every day, preferably same time. But it doesn't mean if you forget to take them at 8 o'clock, at 9 o'clock you can't take them, at 10 o'clock you can't take them. But we emphasize that mostly you must take them every time, because in the period of 12 hours, the virus is starting to build up itself. Then if you take your medication at 9, you need to take them again at 9, every day. You must make sure that you take your medication. And then we do emphasize them to come to the clinic every day so that the viral load can be suppressed. That's how I can explain adherence, is to come to the clinic every day and to take your medication. Adherence doesn't mean to come to the clinic every day, but to drink your tablets every day, because you can come in first and put them there, but when we draw the viral load, it will be high because you don't take the medication. As long as you are coming to the clinic and take your medication, we can say you are adherent to your medication, although you know that you are not taking your medication. And then we need to assist them to make sure that they are really taking their medication.
Egahati clinic. Toe as ons daar is, ons het 'n groen panado gekry. Almal kon each person groen panado gekry. 1 o'clock gaan jy huis toe. Toe moet ons maar sê die kind is dieselfde dank. Moet only panado. Sonder kyk. Hy kyk net met sy 2 oë. As hy klaar kyk, is dit die panado.
No, I'm bringing many medications. Oh, okay. That's too much for me.
How many
Sometimes
do you take?
I sleep the whole day.
People in general, they can be good pill takers or bad pill takers. And it's just unfortunate if you're infected infected with HIV and you are someone that just don't like taking pills. So now with the medication that we have stronger medication and fix those combinations, like with the dolutegravir, we know that it's a more robust drug, which means that when people used to be counseled, you need to take it at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock on the dot. We're not doing that per se and not stressing on that, as it was done in the past, because we know it's a more robust drug and we know that life gets in the way and it's normal for people to forget their medication and it's normal to skip a dose when you are busy with the family function or going out. So the way we counsel people is to try and incorporate it into their daily lives. So the difficulty comes in when they don't have a routine, so with teenagers or young adults and they don't have a fixed routine or they didn't incorporate their medication into their daily routine. Like if they say, I take it when I watch Sewende Line and then on a weekend they don't watch Sewende Line, so they forget to take the medication. So I try to counsel them on taking it maybe when you brush your teeth in the morning, or if you're having breakfast or your first meal for the day, or with your supper, your last meal for the day.
So something they're doing daily.
Something that they're doing daily, as opposed to on a weekend I'm not going to do this, or in a different environment I'm not going to do this. Some of the struggles that people report is obviously depending on the medication that they're on. So ideally we want everyone to be on the one tablet to fix those combination. But if they're on second line medication, we know that it's more than one drug and it's twice a day. And then that's when adherence can become more difficult because now they have to remember to take it twice a day. And then also pill size depending on the actual medication. Some medications can't be crushed. If it's too big, they have to swallow it whole, and it's quite large, and like if I think for myself to swallow that every day, it can be quite difficult. And then side effects of the medication, if they don't like the way they feel after they take it, they're not going to want to take the medication. So that also presents as an adherence issue or struggle.
So nou groot meisie Helen. En jy weet ons bly in 'n flat. Nou as sy nou vir julle elke keer daar is, dan weet sy waaroor gaan dit, dan kom hy goed ons nou weer op, al weet hulle waaroor gaan dit.
Weet mense dat sy positief is?
Ja, nie almal nie.
What do people say about HIV?
They were sleeping around, they were not faithful to each other, they were seeing many men, can you see? All those things. They were not faithful to their partners. Yeah.
So it's mostly about the woman?
Yes, it's mostly about them.
Even the woman might be faithful?
Yes, yeah.
Because there's a lot of women and young ladies in the clinic when I go to the clinic. You don't normally see young men. All the men you see at the clinic would mostly be from 40 years and above. And I would like our women to be a support system or motivation for the young men out there to just open up and admit to themselves to go to the clinic and get help and treatment.
Nou staan ik misschien al buiten, dan gaan we ook staan zijn zo lang die van de ochtend af tot die tijd toe in. Voor mij is het alles te, want ik voel lekker oor en daar is bij mij zit op en af bij de kliniek en bij mij te kind voor mij. Staan alle die komen naar school, dan gaan we uit kind.
If you are taking ARVs and you are taking other medication like traditional medication, it cleans everything. And then when you test your blood next visit, your virality is still high. What is the cause? We really don't know. We will think that the medication is not working, whereas you are cleaning up everything in the system. We know most how strong are they, those traditional medications.
But as ek het vergeet dit in te vat.
Okay.
Oma sê vir my ek moet pad as ek vergeet. Because ons is mos nog Christene en ons glo aan God so. As ek gaan pad, dan gaan alles so reg dus.
I was a little bit younger. I attended Targetable Clinic that time, Targetable Hospital that time, and so this day I don't normally like open up to a person. So I think the people that was in the group with me that time, what at the Joshua do campaign we were a lot of young people, and so they inspired me to like talk openly about it. And so this one day, I chose to be open to this pastor because I thought he won't judge me. So I was sitting in the aisle and he was asking me, why am I here and what am I here for, what am I doing here? And so I like just thought, okay, I'm going to try to be open and just see what his response was. So I told him I have HIV and that is why I'm here. And immediately the pastor like started judging me and telling me that I am here because I can't control myself.
I recently had a patient like a week or two ago that defaulted for more than 2 years, and that was solely for the stigma because of the community, how they treated him when there was rumors about his status. So then he decided he's gonna leave the clinic. He's not coming back anymore so that he can feel like, yeah, everybody's stigmatizing me as a person. So I don't feel like I'm happy enough to go to the clinic, you know? You feel depressed, all of those things play a part, and sometimes it can even lead to other problems like drug abuse, theft, robbery, crime, you know? All of these things play a role in patients' lives.
If I was so saam met intussen.
I thought you said your friends don't know.
They don't know.
So, can you tell me about the day when you told them?
My mother told everybody.
How?
Like at school, primary school. She told the teacher told the children. And then we went to class, to different classes to tell everybody.
How come?
Because I'm getting tired easily, I'm not feeling well. And they were asking questions, why am I like that?
Sometimes as sy uitgaan by die chommies, toe slap sy uit, sy los op hulle. En hulle het gesê mos as sy begin 7 o'clock, dan moet hy in die oggend elke 7 o'clock, dan moet sy kies sons of stokkies. Nou toe kies sy aan. Dan die aand sometimes, dan gaan sy uitslaap by die chommies, as sy terugkom, 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Ek sê, hoe laat is dit nou? Dit is waar samen nog. Het gaat mij pijn doen. Ik zei, hoe laat is het? Want als je dood is, dan moet je maar weer man. Het moet achter jou hardloop, moet je eigen leven.
I'm scared because I'll think the doctor will shout, why you don't do like this? Why you don't do like we know we're gonna, if we miss like more than a week or 5 weeks, we're gonna think we're gonna die now, you see. That's why we were scared. I was okay. If you miss a medication, we're gonna do something like this, you see.
We need to open our minds to the idea that the things and environment around us has agency. And by this I mean that the things around us affect how we feel in so many ways. The world around us, what we see, what we hear, what we touch, everything we experience. The earth, the pearls, they communicate with us. And if we just take a moment to consciously think about it, we will realize that we can be in conflict or in harmony with the material matter around us. How would you describe the smell in your room?
I don't like it.
What does it smell like? Describe it to somebody who can't smell.
It smells like dirty water.
I can feel for the stuff here, there's a lot of things in the room. Like it's so full.
It's at the back now.
I put it somewhere else.
And how many do you take today?
One at night.
One at night.
Like it's just a very awful color.
I don't know, I just don't like the color.
What would you prefer it to be?
A white one. So let's take, can you take one out?
Okay.
That's good. Okay. So, if you could tell this tablet something, what would it be?
Kill me.
Just the word.
cure me. If this was a magic tablet and it would cure. And if you think about that tablet and perhaps what it means for you, what would you tell it?
Okay, I would first of all thank you. I would say thank you for how can I say it now? Thank you for keeping me alive, for helping yourself.
Actually, it is hard to go and collect your medicine because there's robberies, collies, because they think our medication is something that they can smoke, like drugs, and we are victims of drugs because they say we use drugs like we are drug-like addicted.
The man eat the woman, and they shoot each other, stab each other with knives, fight with each other.
Is that a daily thing or is it?
It's a daily thing.
I feel happy.
Me, I feel happy because I'm coming to take my medication and it is my day. I didn't skip my day of my medication.
Most young women, they don't open up very easily, so you have to build a trust relationship first, and after that we can just try and like you are doing with us now, like make things fun for them and then get them to open up and then give them a support system they need. And yeah.
Do you think that this group of girls that have now got together, do you think that they can be a support system for one another?
Yes, I do think so.
Basically, from what I've seen outside, is just the mere acceptance of the child's status. You know, because children or young adults at this point in time, we're all young, so they don't feel like they want to tell other people about their status. And you know, in our societies, people like to, I don't want to say have sex, but you know, that is like the common thing in young adults, you know, we experience it. So I'm not sure if they would willingly tell the other person their status. You understand? It's just merely the fact of accepting that person in general. Maybe the person would feel better tomorrow, maybe it'll take a couple of years, but just accepting that person alone and their status, that would be a start for me.
Ukulumkisa abantu bane-HIV ukuba umuntu ngakazithande ngakazive enhle ngehlobo alilo awubhalwanga ba unayo awuthenanga ba u-HIV okanye uthini zithande ngohlobo lilo, otherwise ukuba uzithandi ekhaya akho nto izawuthini because uhleli njalo umhlengelo hlobo ulilo. So mina ndiyacebisa ukuba zonwabele ngempilo yakho utye nje i-soft life uzonwabele ube nguwe.
Onthou jy die dag wat ons ontmoet het?
Ja.
Kan jy my vertel van daai dag? Kan jy my vertel van daai dag?
Dat was mos op jou birthday gewees. Toe het dinge net gebeur. En ek net sien jy dis 'n girl. Ek like nou als en haar.
Watter boodskap sal sy vir ander ouens gee? Wat se dames vir hulle wat tel het van hul HIV-status?
Ik zou wel sê as jy eintlik in die wêreld nie. Jy kan weke op as jy lief is vir die persoon. Vra vir 'n paar vrae het van uit hoe week jy besig het. As dit 'n week vir jou is dit by jou op pad. As jy lief is vir die persoon gaan sê.
How can families support young women born with HIV? Families can support young women born with HIV by being supportive to them, treating them equally with their siblings or peers, always giving them love and being there for them, giving them support, making sure that they're always happy, they don't feel excluded or outsided by the family. The second one, what would you tell someone whose sister is positive and not feeling like taking their pills? Okay. I would mainly tell my sister to always take their pills because of by taking the pills, they're actually gonna heal. By not being cured, but gonna heal. They're gonna be healthy. They're gonna live longer. There's a lot of benefits to taking your pills. So that's what I would mainly tell my sister. So the last one is how would the community support young women so born with HIV? So mainly the community can help them by not discriminating them, like making them feel as if they're not human enough and stuff like that. Making sure that we all it's one love and stuff like that.
It's not a death sentence. So don't try to commit suicide because you think now your life is over. It's just try to stay positive. It's not the end of the world. You can survive and you can come out at the top at the end of the day.
Julle moet julle dogters afsloof. Staan by julle kinders. Van die jong kinders, hulle maak staat op hulle ouers as hulle nog ouers het. Maar moenie try om hulle weg te dryf van die af. As jy weet jou kind is siek of wat, moenie vir hom wegdryf nie. Try om hom by jou te hou en praat baie met hom.
Belangrike ding moet ek nog sê. Daai kind soos jou eie kind. Gee vir liefde. Sien nou, jy moet maar wys my kind, die wêreld is so. Nou terwyl die wêreld so, maak so. Sometimes ons weet almal van hulle is in een meel se sak. Hulle kan nie gewoon understand nie, maar ons moet nie ophou bek nie. Baie belangrik.
We absolutely need to start considering what matter comes to matter when studying complex healthcare problems like adherence. This means when we address adherence to art, we need to do so holistically through policy, programs, and interventions. We need to be mindful of all material elements and their interactions with us. Young people living with HIV are already challenged by the developmental phase of adolescence, and young women live in a context where femicide is the norm. And although resilient, strong, and so incredibly brave, their stories are layered with mistrust in people, experiences of rejection, loss of parents, living with secrets, shame, and long-term mental health concerns. We need to think about how the interaction with the environment affects the experience of adherence and their journeys of living with HIV. From what we have seen, the objects they encounter and the spaces that they find themselves in do affect how they feel and has a part to play in how they adhere to their medication and to their treatment plans. We need to consider these young women as people in a constant state of becoming within an assemblage. It really is more than just a pill.
Many times I thought it was the end of my world. But as time goes on, I think you learn to accept things that just weren't meant to be and move on to better things. And here I am at it again, creating a whole new world for myself. So just remember, sometimes things get the best of you, but isn't the end.
This video would not have been possible without our amazing co-production team. Ladies were fierce and brave and courageous, and thank you for sharing your stories with us.